Okay, I've got a little, like a mini cake dessert stand. I didn't get it for that. I just got it to make a pretty decorative piece. I thought of it more as a fountain. And so I'm going to use, this time I've chosen thin viscosity, equal parts A and B of Counterculture DIY. Typically I use medium, but today I just decided to use thin. I have it, and I thought I'd just use it because I'm not timing anything for coasters or that kind of thing. But I'm using Funshine Color Shop Cotton Candy, which is a color that's really identical to the dish, and then Gilded Rose, which is a little bit deeper, but really the same tone, but it has a kind of a golden cast to it. And I'm going to play that up with a little bit of Pinata Gold alcohol ink. About 3 drops. Let's stir that up and see what it looks like. I want it to feel more metallic, you know, than just pink. And so if I can get just a little bit of a variation, which I am, I'm going to put 1 more drop. And I'm actually going to put a little tiny scoop of Sparkle Miners Gold in with it as well. Just start small and experiment, and then, you know, it won't be a total shock to you. There's so many times I've put too much mica in, and, you know, just, you can't take it back once you've done it. Okay. So I'm going to, well, let me just go ahead and do the pink first. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and pop bubbles. Again, it's thin viscosity, so I really don't kind of know what it's going to do, but I don't want it to do anything really specific. I just want it to be pretty. That's the main thing, prettiness. What do I want to do? I think I'm going to put just a little bit more gold in this resin. That is the Gilded Rose, so I'm just making it a little bit more golden. Actually, I use the heat gun to pop bubbles, but I like to use the low temp heat gun. It has more air that blows out, and it's not, it's only 300 degrees. I'm just going to drizzle, sometimes just clear on top of other colors, micas. It just gives a little bit of depth. I don't know. I want it to almost look like ripples. I could even move my stick around. It's going to move on its own as it cures anyway. It's kind of pretty. It almost looks like a rose. I just want it really soft and feminine looking. I have 1 coaster I'm going to do. I just was hoping I would have enough left over to possibly do a coaster. And that's, I think, looks pretty good. I might have to level out this board a bit. It's not on a flat board. I think it's shifting that way. This holds 2 ounces. The geode number 3. I've got some little bright gold crushed glass bits. They're from Laura's Art Corner. So I'm going to just make sure that resin covers those gold bits. Okay, and then this is just the cotton candy color. Now, I'm going to add 1 drop of magenta, just because this is going to be a single coaster by itself. So it's a girly pink this time. This is thin viscosity, so this is not my typical thickness of resin that I work with, so I may not get any great results at all like I would like to. But it never hurts to play and just discover what each type of resin can do. And I'm just going to swirl just for something different. And don't scrape the bottom of your coaster either, because it'll leave little scratch marks on the silicone part, you know. Okay, and then I've got some little, they're called baubles. They're little glass beads that look like bubbles, and I'm trying to decide if I want to put them in here, because once they're in, they're in. I also have a little bit of gold I can trickle in there if I want to still, and just really gold it up. This resin is only maybe about 1/8 of an inch thick. It's not super deep, because the little dessert stand here, whatever you want to call it, is, you know, doesn't have much of a lip on the edge where the glass is. Alcohol ink, like 1, 2 drops, and see what it looks like. What that does is it warms it up and it tones it down as well. So it's kind of like a deeper rose, so I could technically put a little of that in it here and there. I don't know if they'll come off as bubbles because they're in a color, so, but it just gives it some texture. And then we're going to add something at the end to really make it look like a little bird fountain. The little baubles have an iridescent look to them. So I'm sure they're really meant to, like, you put them in clear maybe, so that you can really kind of see them stand out. Okay, some of them, they're sinking, so it may not do what I wanted it to do. That's okay. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to do is I have some silk flowers. And I don't want them really under the resin. I just want them to kind of sit on top. And you know, if they're just sitting on top a little bit, that will hold them in, kind of like glue does. So that's really all I want. And I thought about waiting, you know, maybe 30-45 minutes before putting these in, and I should have. Hopefully it won't go over the wing. Hopefully. And these I just want kind of sitting on the surface. But I love butterflies. This is dissipating. It's not staying in any form, and that's okay. I just wanted a pretty pinkish gold coaster. Just really soft. It doesn't have to be real defined or anything. And I had a peacock coaster that I'm coating. I'm going to take this little bit of pink here. I'm not putting it on my piece, but I'm just going to put it on the silicone mat in a little puddle. And it'll spread out and self-level. Because I like to keep my little extra resin pieces that are nice little round shapes and all, just for maybe something in the future. Who knows what it will be. And then I turn my cup upside down, and that way it drains down to the silicone mat and it's easy to get out. These are the really small ones, and then there's some that I think are a little bit bigger. These are from Michaels, but Laura's Art Corner also sells them if you can't find them at Michaels. If anything, you know, ends up on the surface and it doesn't sink into the resin, it'll just come off, and I can save it and use it on another day. Yeah, I think I got them at Michaels. A few little glass bits of gold on this side. That way, if it's a reversible coaster. I also have some little stones, but do I want stones in there? Because I have some that have black in it. These are pink opals. Little rocks. Pink opal. We'll put them in there. What the heck? Okay, so I'm going to leave it alone and cover it and wait till tomorrow to see what it looks like, and pray that my butterflies don't sink. The leaves are going in a little bit and it changes the color when the resin touches the leaf. I was hoping it would just sit on top, but that's okay. I want to make sure that didn't touch anything. Not touching the peacock. I'm just propping it so it doesn't touch anything, because these are tall things. I'll be back tomorrow. Okay. So here is, I don't know if you can see the little beads on top, and the pink opal, the butterfly, the leaves, flowers. I put a little gold edge around the bottom and on the edge of the fountain just to fancy it up just a bit with an old oil-based Krylon paint pen. This was the peacock coaster that it's actually etched with silver, which you can barely see. That way you can see all that sparkle. And I have chrome edges, and I'm going to go around and just touch up the chrome edges with my liquid chrome pen, which I absolutely love. Here is the coaster. Here's the top side, and here's the other side. So typically I use white because white will just kind of enhance everything else. So you've got a little clear, you've got the goldish color and the pink, and it's still really pretty. It doesn't have quite the same effect as the medium viscosity resin, but close. And I'm going to definitely go around this with a gold paint pen just because of the gold bits that are in it. And this pen is so super easy to use. I haven't even pressed the nib down, and it just starts right away filling in with gold paint. I like to do this instead of a paintbrush. It makes your life a lot easier. Also, I noticed with thin viscosity, it's flexible the next day a little bit. It takes longer to thoroughly cure than the medium viscosity. So that's one of the other reasons why I choose medium viscosity is within 24 hours it's pretty firm, and within 3 days or so, I feel like it's really fully cured, but they say it takes up to 3 weeks. So I recommend to anybody not to use their coasters for about 3 weeks and let it fully cure before you put things that are heavy on it or really hot, even though this is heat resistant to 500 degrees. So that's just my bit of advice. So anyway, that is with gold edges and a little rim of gold. And that's with all the Funshine pretty micas that I used. The Gilded Rose, which I amped it up with more gold, cotton candy, and Sparkle Miners Gold. The Recollections, these are like what I call Baubles, B-A-U-B-L-E-S. They're little transparent beads, and I put them in the surface, and most of them sank, but it just gives like a little feel of bubbles. These are bright gold crushed glass bits that are in the middle of the coaster from Laura's Art Corner, and also pink opal comes from Laura's Art Corner, and those were added in at the end of that before I covered it up. So this liquid chrome is just so super shiny. It's almost like a mirror. And what I do is, with this peacock mold, there's some pretty deep crevices, so I'll go around with a paintbrush and silver leafing wool-based paint. But it is not as shiny as the liquid chrome for sure. So what I do is I just, after the creases and side where it's deep, after they dry, I come back and just touch up any of the edges with the liquid chrome just to give it a fresh, shiny chrome finish around the edges. You can press your nib and let some paint drip down there, but sometimes it just doesn't quite make it all the way into that crease because they're pretty deep with the peacock. But this liquid chrome is the shiniest out there I've ever seen, for sure. I don't think there's anything really comparable. as far as any other oil paint, and definitely no acrylics that are this shiny and mirror-like.